When Italy invaded Greece on October 28, 1940, the Greek army faced one of the most formidable challenges in its modern history. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, Greek forces would go on to achieve remarkable victories, pushing Italian forces back into Albania in what became the first Allied land victory of World War II. The weapons that Greek infantrymen carried into battle told a complex story of a nation caught between eras, armed with a mixture of domestic production, foreign imports, and captured enemy equipment. From the mountains of Epirus to the beaches of Crete, Greek soldiers wielded an eclectic arsenal that reflected both their country's industrial limitations and their military's adaptability. This is the complete story of Greek infantry weapons during the Second World War, from rifles and pistols to machine guns and anti-tank weapons that defended Greek soil against Axis aggression. Rifles. Männlicher Schönauer Model 1903-14. The backbone of Greek infantry firepower was undoubtedly the Männlicher Schönauer rifle, specifically the Model 1903-14. This rifle represented Greece's attempt to modernize its armed forces in the early 20th century. Chambered in 6.5 Hawaii 54mm Männlicher Schönauer, a cartridge specifically developed for Greek service, this bolt-action rifle was manufactured by the Austrian firm Steyr. The weapon featured a distinctive rotary magazine holding 5 rounds, a design that was both innovative and reliable. The rotary magazine system, invented by Ferdinand Ritter von Mannlicher, allowed for smooth feeding and reduced the risk of rimlock issues common in traditional box magazines. Greek soldiers appreciated the rifle's accuracy and relatively mild recoil, making it effective in the mountainous terrain where much of the fighting took place. The 1903-14 model included improvements over the original 1903 design, with a pistol grip stock and other modifications suited to Greek requirements. During the Greco-Italian War, this rifle proved its worth in the hands of determined Greek soldiers who used it to devastating effect against Italian forces. The 6.5mm cartridge, while not as powerful as some contemporary military rounds, offered good accuracy and manageable recoil, allowing for rapid follow-up shots. Männlicher Schönauer carbine. Alongside the standard rifle, Greek cavalry and specialized units employed the carbine version of the Männlicher Schönauer. This shortened variant maintained the same excellent action and rotary magazine system, but in a more compact package. The carbine was particularly valued by mountain troops and cavalry units who needed a weapon that wouldn't impede movement in difficult terrain or while mounted. Though it sacrificed some velocity and effective range compared to the full-length rifle, the carbine remained accurate and reliable at typical combat distances encountered in the Balkan Mountains. Lebel Model 1886-93. Greece possessed a significant stock of French Lebel rifles, a remnant of close military ties with France and post-World War I military assistance. The Lebel Model 1886-93, chambered in 8mm Lebel, was an older design by World War II standards but remained serviceable. This rifle featured a distinctive tubular magazine located beneath the barrel, holding 8 rounds. The Lebel was Greece's first experience with smokeless powder rifles on a large scale, many having been acquired in the decades before World War II. While the design was dated, with its slow-loading tube magazine and long overall length, it remained capable of effective service, particularly for rear echelon and garrison troops. The 8mm Lebel cartridge delivered solid performance, and many Greek soldiers who had trained on these rifles during peacetime continued to use them when war came. Berthier rifles. Greek forces also employed various models of French Berthier rifles, including the Mamel 1907-15 and Mamel 1916. These rifles, also chambered in 8mm Lebel, represented a more modern French design than the Lebel. The Berthier used a Mannlicher-style clip-loaded magazine, typically holding 3 rounds in earlier versions and 5 rounds in later models. This system offered faster reloading than the Lebel's tube magazine. Many Berthier rifles had seen service in World War I before being transferred to Greece as part of French military aid programs. Greek soldiers found these rifles reliable and easier to maintain under field conditions than the older Lebel design. Pistols FN Model 1910-22. The Fabrique Nationale Model 1910-22 served as one of the standard sidearms of Greek officers and specialized troops. This Belgian-designed pistol, chambered in 9mm Browning long, represented John Browning's influence on European handgun design, The pistol featured a 7-round magazine and a simple blowback operation. Greek officers particularly appreciated its compact size and reliability. The Model 1910-22 was an updated version of the Model 1910, featuring a longer barrel and improved sights. Its adoption by Greece reflected the country's military connections with Western European powers and preference for proven designs from established manufacturers. Steyr-Hahn M1912. Austria's contribution to Greek sidearms came in the form of the Steyr-Hahn Model 1912. This robust semi-automatic pistol, chambered in 9mm Steyr, featured an 8-round fixed internal magazine loaded via stripper clips. The Steyr-Hahn was notable for its unique rotating barrel locking system, which contributed to its accuracy and reliability. Greek forces acquired these pistols through various channels, and they served well in the harsh conditions of the Greco-Italian War. The pistol's solid construction and powerful cartridge made it effective in close-quarters combat situations. Ruby pistol. The Spanish-made Ruby pistol, chambered in .32 ACP, found its way into Greek service in various numbers. These pistols, mass-produced during World War I primarily for French service, ended up in many armies' inventories during the interwar period. While not as powerful as larger military sidearms, the Ruby's compact size and reasonable reliability made it suitable for officers and non-commissioned officers. Its 7 to 9 round magazine capacity provided adequate firepower for a backup weapon. Webley revolvers. British influence in Greek military affairs brought various Webley revolvers into service. Models included the Webley Mark VI, the standard British service revolver of World War I. Chambered in 455 Webley, these top-break revolvers were robust and powerful. Greek officers who had trained with British advisors or who had acquired weapons through British military aid channels often carried Webley revolvers. The 6-round capacity and quick reloading provided by the break-open design made these revolvers competitive with semi-automatic pistols of the era. Submachine guns. Beretta Model 1918-30. Greece's submachine gun inventory was limited compared to other nations, but Italian-made Beretta submachine guns featured prominently, particularly after being captured during the Albanian campaign. The Beretta Model 1918-30, chambered in 9mm Glicenti, was an evolution of Italy's World War I submachine gun design. Featuring a 25-round magazine and select fire capability, these weapons proved valuable for close-quarters combat. Greek forces who captured these weapons appreciated their firepower, though the 9mm Glicenti cartridge was somewhat underpowered compared to other submachine gun rounds. Beretta Model 38. The more modern Beretta Model 38 represented a significant improvement over earlier Italian submachine gun designs. Some of these weapons fell into Greek hands during the fighting in Albania. Chambered in 9mm Parabellum, the Model 38 featured excellent build quality and could accept magazines of various capacities, typically 10, 20, 30, or 40 rounds. Its rate of fire and reliability made it highly sought after by Greek soldiers who preferred its performance over older captured weapons. Machine guns. Hotchkiss M1914. The Hotchkiss M1914 served as Greece's primary medium machine gun throughout World War II. This French-designed, gas-operated, air-cooled machine gun, chambered in 8mm Liebel, had proven itself during World War I. The Hotchkiss used a distinctive feeding system, employing rigid metallic strips holding 24 or 30 rounds. While this system was slower to reload than belt-fed designs, it was reliable and well-suited to the dusty conditions often encountered in the Balkans. Greek machine gun crews trained extensively on the Hotchkiss, and it provided crucial defensive firepower during both the Italian and German invasions. The gun's rate of fire of approximately 450 rounds per minute offered sustained fire capability without overheating, and its air-cooled design eliminated the need for water cooling systems that could freeze in mountain conditions. Schwarzlose M1907-12. Austrian influence in Greek military procurement brought the Schwarzlose M1907-12 machine gun into service. This unique weapon, chambered in 850mm Mannlicher, featured a delayed blowback operation rather than the more common recoil or gas operation. The Schwarzlose was water-cooled and belt-fed, typically using 250-round fabric belts. Greek forces employed these machine guns primarily in defensive positions, where their weight and water cooling system were less problematic. The gun's relatively low rate of fire, around 400 rounds per minute, actually helped conserve ammunition and reduce barrel wear, making it reliable for sustained defensive fire. Saint-Étienne Manal 1907. Greece also possessed some quantity of the French Saint-Étienne Manal 1907 machine guns. These gas-operated, air-cooled weapons, chambered in 8mm level, were less reliable than the Hotchkiss, but still saw service. The Saint-Étienne used the same feed strip system as the Hotchkiss, but featured a more complex mechanism that proved finicky in adverse conditions. Despite these issues, Greek forces employed them where available, particularly in secondary defensive positions. Hand grenades. French F1 grenade. The French F1 defensive grenade, commonly known as the pineapple grenade due to its segmented cast-iron body, served as Greece's primary hand grenade. This design, dating from World War I, remained effective in World War II. The F1 contained approximately 60 grams of explosive and produced deadly fragmentation, effective within a radius of 10 meters, with fragments dangerous up to 200 meters. The grenade used a time-delay fuse typically set for 4 to 5 seconds. Greek soldiers used these grenades extensively in mountain warfare, where the terrain channeled their fragmentation effects. Italian grenades. Captured Italian grenades supplemented Greek stocks. The Breda Mod 35, an offensive grenade with a blast effect rather than fragmentation, and the SRCM Mod 35, a red-painted defensive grenade with fragmentation capability, both saw use by Greek forces. The Italian OTO Mod 35 fragmentation grenade, with its distinctive serrated body, also entered Greek service through capture. Anti-tank weapons. Boys anti-tank rifle. Greece received limited numbers of British Boys anti-tank rifles before and during the war. This bolt-action rifle, chambered in the powerful 55 Boys cartridge, could penetrate approximately 21mm of armor at 100 meters. At over 16 kilograms and nearly 1.6 meters long, the Boys was cumbersome and featured notorious recoil despite its muzzle brake and padded shoulder rest. Greek anti-tank teams employed these rifles against Italian light tanks and armored vehicles during the Albanian campaign with some success. However, by 1941, German armor proved largely immune to the Boys rifle's penetration capabilities. 47mm Böhler anti-tank gun. While technically a crew-served weapon rather than infantry portable, the Austrian 47mm Böhler deserves mention as it was often operated by infantry anti-tank teams. Greece had purchased these guns before the war, and they proved effective against Italian armor. The Böhler could penetrate approximately 40mm of armor at 500 meters, sufficient to defeat Italian light tanks. Its relatively lightweight for an anti-tank gun, about 280 kilograms, allowed it to be manhandled into position by infantry crews. Greek soldiers used these guns effectively in ambush positions along mountain roads. Mortars. 80mm Brandt mortar. The French 80mm Brandt mortar served as Greece's primary infantry mortar. This weapon, which became the standard for 80mm mortars worldwide, could deliver high explosive shells to ranges exceeding 3,000 meters. Greek mortar teams used these weapons extensively to provide indirect fire support for infantry operations. The Brandt's accuracy and range made it particularly valuable in mountain warfare, where it could engage targets on reverse slopes and in valleys inaccessible to direct fire weapons. 60mm mortars. Greece also employed 60mm mortars, primarily of French origin, as company-level support weapons. These lighter mortars, typically weighing around 19 kilograms, could be carried by infantry units and provided immediate fire support at ranges up to 1,800 meters. The smaller caliber meant less logistical burden while still delivering effective high-explosive fire. The Greek infantry arsenal of World War II reflected a nation making the most of limited industrial capacity and diverse foreign sources. From the reliable Mannlicher Schönauer rifles that had served since before World War I to captured Italian weapons seized during the victorious Albanian campaign, Greek soldiers fought with whatever arms they could obtain. The eclectic nature of this arsenal created logistical challenges, with multiple calibers and ammunition types complicating supply efforts. Yet Greek forces achieved remarkable success against Italian invaders and fought tenaciously against the German Wehrmacht. The Hotchkiss machine guns that defended mountain passes, the French grenades thrown in desperate counterattacks, and the Mannlicher rifles that cracked across frozen Albanian valleys all played their part in Greece's defiant stand. Though ultimately overwhelmed by German military might in April 1941, the Greek infantry's performance demonstrated that courage and determination could offset material disadvantages. The weapons described here were not merely tools of war, but instruments through which a small nation defended its sovereignty and earned the respect of friend and foe alike. When we remember the Greek campaign of World War II, we should remember not only the battles fought, but also the diverse arsenal that Greek soldiers carried into combat, weapons that told the story of a nation's alliances, industrial limitations, and martial spirit. These infantry weapons of the Greek army remain testament to a proud military tradition that achieved victory against overwhelming odds and never surrendered its honor even in defeat.